Welcome back. I know you are super excited to use all of that area and perimeter knowledge, so we are going to jump right into it. The first thing I want to make sure you know is that, number one, in order to be super successful here, we are going to do two things. First thing we are going to do, that looks too much like the color in the picture. First thing we are going to do is we are going to label the pictures. We are going to write the measurements on the pictures. Second thing, write the formula. Once you have labeled the pictures and you have written the formula, then you can plug in your numbers. So here we go. I know, and I'm going to shrink my pen a little bit because I have a feeling this might get a little crowded. I know that one of my bases is 9.2. I know the other one is 3.9. I know one of the legs is 4.43. The other leg is 5.72. And I know the height is 4.2. So buckle your helmet because here we go. For perimeter, we'll do that one first. We add all the sides. But Miss Graham, I can't do that in my head, so use your calculator. But before you put it in your calculator, you need to write down what that looks like. But that's so much work, Miss Graham. Suck it up, Buttercup. So we need to add 9.2 plus 5.72 plus 3.9 plus 4.43. Once you have written it down, then and only then do you get to go to Desmos. So 9.2 plus 5.72 plus 3.9 plus 4.43, 23.25. We have measurements in yards. So we have to include units on the answer. If you don't include your units, it's wrong. So perimeter is 23.25 yards. So we'll go take a look at area. Well, you have the formula for the area of a trapezoid right there. It is beautiful. I'm going to use the top one. So I need base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. My base 1, I'm going to make that the bottom. That was 9.2. Base 2 was 3.9. The height was 4.2. All divided by 2. Once you have all of the numbers in their places, then you can go to Desmos. Why do I make you do that? Well, here's the thing. If you have little sausage fingers like me, you sometimes push the wrong button in the calculator. If you push the wrong button and you enter a wrong answer and I don't have any way to look and see that you knew which numbers to plug in and plug them in the right place, you get the whole question wrong. If I can go back to your scratch work and I can see that you plugged in all the right numbers, you just have little sausage fingers and missed the wrong button or missed the button, then I can give you some of your points. So I get 27.51. We are measuring in yards, so this would be yards squared. All of your units for area are yards squared, or inches squared, or chickens squared. I don't know. The point is, no matter what you're measuring in, square them. I'm not worried about the type. That's a trapezoid. So here's a parallelogram. We are going to do exactly the same thing. We are going to label all of the pieces on the picture first. So this side is 5.95. The base was 8.7. The height is 5.6. Now, if you get this one wrong, I know exactly why you're going to get it wrong. If you get it wrong, you are going to use the 5.95 as the height instead of 5.6. Don't do that. First thing we are going to find is perimeter. Remember, perimeter, we add up all the sides. Write it down. So we need to add, y'all. They only gave us 2 of the sides. They only gave us 5.95 and 8.7. Wait, what was that? Are you sure? So you're telling me that since I know the 5.95, I know that this piece is 5.95 also? And since the bottom is 8.7, I know the top is also 8.7? What? Look at you listening and mathing. That is absolutely correct. The ends are the same and the top and the bottom are the same. So when we go to add all of the sides, we need to add 5.95 plus 5.95 plus 8.7 plus 8.7. Miss Graham, can we just multiply the first one by 2 and the second one by 2 and then add them together? Yes, you can. It'll get you to the same place. I want you guys to see, though, the physical process of writing out all of the sides with plus signs in between them. Once you have written the formula and plugged in the numbers, you go to Desmos, and we add 5.95 plus 5.95 plus 8.7 plus 8.7. And you have a perimeter of 29.3 yards. So then you're going to go do area. Write the formula. Area of a parallelogram is base times height. Our base was 8.7. The height was 5.6. So you go to Desmos, and you do 8.7 times 5.6. So I get 48.72. We're measuring in yards, so we get square yards. Now you've got a square. The perimeter of a square. You add up all the sides. So if we go label everything, I know that this is 5.8. And I know this one is 5.8. But I get 2 more for free because it's a square. So this is 5.8. And this is 5.8. So if we find perimeter and we need to add up all the sides, we do 5.8 plus 5.8 plus 5.8 plus 5.8. So the perimeter of our square is 23.2 inches. Area of a square is base times height. Well, we had a base of 5.8 and a height of 5.8. So if we go multiply 5.8 by 5.8, you get 33.64. And we're doing area, so it's inches squared. There's another trapezoid. We did one of those. I'm going to run over here to the rectangle. We haven't done a rectangle yet. I'm going to label my picture with 4.9 and 7.8. Remember, you get 2 sides for free now. You also know the top is 7.8. And you know the right side is 4.9. WTF, dude, you got to write the formula. The perimeter, add all the sides. So we need to add 7.8 plus 4.9 plus 7.8 plus 4.9. So I go to Desmos. I have 2 7.8s. And I have 2 4.9s, so I end up with a perimeter of 25.4, and we are measuring in millimeters. Area is base times height. If you like to say length times width, more power to you. As long as you get the numbers in the right place, I don't care. The base, 7.8. The height is 4.9. So you go over to your handy dandy calculator and you type in 7.8 times 4.9. And you get an area of 38.22 millimeters squared. Don't forget your units. The last one is a parallelogram. It will work just like number 2. Now these down here are super fun. These are some of my favorite ones to work. Y'all, I don't have a formula for that. I don't even have a name for that. But when I look at this guy, here's what I see. I see a place where I could cut that shape and make two pieces that I am familiar with. I can cut it into a rectangle and a square, which is super convenient because I know how to find the area of both of those. So I'm going to do the square first because it's easier. Area of a square is base times height. So it would be 20 times 20. Notice we did the WTF first. That gives me 400 square inches. Then I'm going to go do the rectangle. For the rectangle, my formula is base times height. So I need to do 23 times 22. So I get 506 square inches. Then to find the area of the whole shape, we add them up. So 400 square inches plus 506 square inches is 906 square inches. Oh, sorry. So cut these up into shapes that you have a formula for, and life gets a whole lot easier. I'm going to look at 5. 5, I still don't have a formula for, but I think I see a pretty convenient place to cut it. I think I'm going to cut it right across here. That gives me a square and a rectangle. And I know that if I find the area of the square, I can add it to the area of the rectangle, and life is golden. So the area of a square is base times height. That's 64 square feet. The area of a rectangle is base times height. That's 16 times 4. That is also 64 square feet. So if I add the total for the square and the total for the rectangle, I get 128 square feet of area in all. Now 6 is a little bit different. I'm going to cut 6 right here because then I get a triangle. And I get a, I get a square. And now that I colored it, it kind of looks like a tree. So we haven't done area of a triangle yet. Here we go. I'm going to stick it up here in the corner. Area of a triangle is 1/2 of the base times the height. Well, I need the dimensions for the base. I know from here to here, is 6. I know from here to here is 6. But the problem is I need to know how big the middle is. Wait, what? The middle is 14. How did you know? Oh, the bottom of the square is 14, and since it's a square, it matches the length of the top. Fabulous idea. So if I add these together, I get a base of a total of 26 yards for my triangle. Excellent thinking. So my base was 26. They tell me the height. The height is 21. Now, whether you plug this in as a 1/2 or a 0.5 makes no difference to me. I'm going to use 0.5 because it's fewer keystrokes. Don't ask me what I'm going to do with the extra 1/2 second that I saved by doing that. So the area of that green triangle is 273 yards squared. So we need to go down here and do the area of the square. Area of the square is base times height. You already told me the base. The base was 14. The height is also 14 from right here. So my triangle is 273 square yards. My square is 196 square yards. If I add them together, I already forgot what it said, 273. I get 469 square yards. We'll pause there.